about you being are you a volunteer or you a worker there?
Volunteer.
Okay, you're a volunteer in the bushfires as a firefighter.
Yep.
And you went through the whole season of the bushfires, and
Yep.
as everyone knows, it was pretty hectic. But seeing you on a stage performing 18 years, and just before it, you raised up the jacket, and one of your comments were to Scott Morrison. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. But, I just want to know, tell me about the bushfires. Like, give a perspective to people, because they just seen it through the TV screens and the news reporters. But
yeah, I mean, being on the front line, I was on trucks with people who've been in the brigade for 50 odd years, and like there was a lot of experience on all the trucks I went on, and the majority of them said that they've never ever seen fire behaviour like this one, and it was just like the dry index was so high, and it was just so intense and so intensely hot, and it was just like nothing anybody has ever seen before. And this was my first major campaign. Like I've been there and done bits and bobs with the brigade, but this is my first proper campaign fire, and it's definitely one that I reckon we'll look back on in 20 odd years and note the mistakes that we made and what we can do better. This will be, I think,
big learning curve.
Yeah, this will be the fire that everyone sort of looks
Man,
back on.
I'd see your like stories on Insta and like how you was always passed out after the fire. You just passed out in the truck and everything's still going on, like still steaming, still like forests is like getting burnt up. Like what was it like just being with these people you had for your life? You know, you didn't have no one else. Like it was just what 4 or 5 of you.
Yeah, like my brigade especially. Not saying that other brigades aren't, but we're very, very tight. Yeah. Like, we're like a big family. And every time we go on a truck, it's not like, oh, who's this guy?
How are you,
I
John?
trust him?
Yeah.
It's like, we're brothers, we're sisters.
Mucking around
like,
a lot too.
Yeah. Like, we got to have fun. You got to
That's
find
right.
the good and the bad. Like, you know, we'll be out at these intense fires, but like, we'll still have a gag and still have a laugh and get on. Yeah. And I think if we didn't have that, it would have been a bit more intense for me, and I would have been a bit more scarred.
For sure.
But like, I was with the best people in the world out at these fires, so it was just
make it a bit more easier. Can we just show the jacket to the camera to show that this
jacket
is jacket
and shirt that I wore the whole campaign
all the time? Because this is what I've been seeing you in for the last few months as well.
That's it.
How close did you actually get to the fire? Like how far were you from it?
Like which one?
the first contact that you had. Like what was the first contact that you had with the fire?
The first call I went to would have been up north a bit. And it was a night shift, so we do like day shift, night shift. So your day shift is like 7 in the morning, and it's 12. They say
shifts,
12 hours, but you might be there for longer.
Give or take.
And then you got your night shifts, which are overnight, which are
tiring. Yeah.
Very tiring. The first one I went on was a night shift. We went out to Colo Heights, which is sort of in the middle of nowhere. And we drove into this paddock and went down, and it was like huge. It was scary. I get nerves thinking about it, because that was my first sort of contact with anything that had happened.
Before going in, what were you expecting?
I don't know. I sort of blacked out.
You just blacked out, yeah?
Like I sort of was just looking at it, like
focusing.
And we were driving towards it. Like we were going in there, and I'm like, oh.
So were you seeing fire around you, or were you just saw smoke?
Yeah.
So that was because there was one footage that was like this guy was going through it and in the truck, and it was just looked like he was in the middle of hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's crazy, that photo. Like it was very, very intense and scary at times. Like there were some times where I was like, oh, will I make it home tonight? Like there was this one time we got trapped in I don't know how much I can talk about it, but we were trapped in this property, and there was fire all around us. And it was petrifying. There was helicopters over us about, not that far above us, and they were dropping water nearly on us, and it was just, there was some very, very terrifying moments.
Like close moments.
Yeah, like we were at fire fronts. Like,
wow.
We did a lot of back burning and a lot of this and a lot of that. A lot of easy work. I mean, hard work, but like easy when
compared
you're
to
in front of a fire that is coming straight towards you, ridiculously fast.
Fast and like freaking high as well. Like it's like coming over you, man.
Yeah, unexplainable. Like there was very intense moments, heaps of highs, a lot of lows, but we got through it.
What was your family like? Your parents, especially, they would have been.
Yeah, I made sure I called all my family and told them I'm safe and all good. And Mum would call me while I'm out there, and I was like, "Hey, I need to go." Like,
yeah.
But I ended up at property protection at my mum's house because they had it come real close and like all along her road, and it was terrifying.
What's we'll get into I'll ask you one more question. We'll get into some music. And what's one thing you learnt from the fires? Like just any life lessons you learnt?
A lot. Like being out there every day and not knowing what was going to happen at the end of the day sort of gave me that notion of I need to take every day as like something. Like I want to live every day like it's the last, and it's an intense thing to think about, that we were out there doing what we were doing and not knowing the certainty if we were coming home or not.
Yeah, man.
So I learnt a lot. There was a lot that I learnt. But the main thing I took away with it is just, we got to appreciate everything, appreciate the small things, and just appreciate life as a whole, because, you don't know when everything could go, or you don't know when you could go, and you got to take everything as it comes and just appreciate everything.
Is there anything that the government should know, coming from a person that's been on the front line, first-hand experience? Is there anything that, not just Scott Morrison, we know what he's done and what he's trying to do, but I mean just in general, like for people, even when they're going to vote and stuff like that, what do they need to know about this sort of stuff that we're supposed to vote better and get to better people in the game?
Not the best on politics, but I think people need to think about who they want to lead the country. Like, I think we need someone who's going to be responsible when there's things going on like this, and not go away on a holiday. Like, we need a leader. We don't need someone who's going to be there and, do what old mate did.
Was it? How did that affect you when you heard that? Like,
yeah. So I don't know. It's hard. Obviously, it didn't hit me personally because like we're out there doing what we did. But I think we, as a country, need to think about who we want. Like, so we need someone to lead the country, and I don't think that Scott Morrison was leading the country. I think he did what he could with what resources he had, but I feel like as someone who was out there on the front line, that there was more that the government as a whole could have done. They did what they could, and they gave us the resources that we needed at times with the state of emergencies and this and that. But I feel, as someone who did vote as well in the last election, that we need someone that is a leader. And I felt like I was let down as someone on the front line
that wants to serve. Yeah. I just want to say thank you on behalf of all my fans and all the people that follow me. Thanks for doing I was even trying to hit you up and trying to say, how can I help somehow? Like, I want to sign up, but it was a bigger process. Then I just wanted to go there and hold the hose or something, something to do, But I really thank you for doing that, man, especially being at a young age. We know people passed away from it, and, thank God it wasn't you. I thank God you're still here, and I thank God that you can put it in the music and that feel and that heart, and it really plays out in the music.
Yeah, shout out all my Shipley family too.
Yeah, shout out all you guys out there. Shout out all the firefighters.